Sunday morning, everybody, and hey, I'm going to go out for a scooter ride. It is a little bit cool today. We had a little bit of weather come through. Actually, yesterday morning I had to scrape the ice off my windshield. Middle of April almost. I had to scrape ice. Anyways, that's New Mexico weather for you. Well, I'm going to go out on a Sunday morning. I'm not really sure where I'm headed, but hey, come along with me, will you? Well, I got myself a new motorcycle helmet recently. Carbon fiber. Not bad. Hey. Well, this place has a lot of memories. I'm on the West Mesa of Albuquerque. I'm over here at the Model Airplane Flying Field, officially known as the George J. Maloof Memorial Airpark. And I've been coming out here since I was a kid in the early 1970s. A long time ago. And they're still flying radio control model airplanes on this big field back here. And there's another field over here that's sort of not really used much anymore for control line airplanes. There's a few control line flyers, but most everybody else has gravitated to RC. So the city has put some money into it, and now they have, like, you know, restrooms and stuff like that. But let's go take a look at the planes flying. Yeah, so Dad would take us out to the West Mesa. We lived across town, pretty close to where I live now. 20-mile drive, maybe? On a little 2-lane paved road that's now a 6-lane road. Up here, it was a bone-jarring dirt road out here on top of the West Mesa. And this little 100-foot square paved flight line. And they would be flying the early radio control airplanes, like with Craft RC systems and those kind of things. Used to go to Duke City Hobbies. That was the big hobby shop back when I was a kid. But my older brother was learning to fly RC. That's why we came out here. Anyway, it was a lot of fun, but I still love coming out here. First of all, just to get out into some fresh air, some nice flat desert grassland kind of terrain. We have our volcanoes, which are actually in the city limits, so it's one of the few cities in the United States with volcanoes in the city limits. Extinct, at least we think they are. When my dad was a kid, they used to take old car tires and drag them up to the top of the biggest volcano and set them on fire and then pretend like the volcanoes are re-erupting. Yeah, that's what kids did back then, instead of get on Snapchat or whatever the heck they do now. Well, it's Sunday. I had a cup of coffee, AeroPress coffee at home. Wasn't quite ready to have breakfast, but guess what? Now I'm hungry, and it is getting on Sunday morning. It means the restaurants are going to be crowded. So I got to figure out where I'm going to eat breakfast. So I'm down near Old Town Albuquerque on Mountain Road, just east of Old Town, and it's sort of like north of downtown, north of the modern downtown area. So I'm gonna enjoy my breakfast and then ride around and see what else we can find. Well, it's always nice to be back onto the patio in a nice balmy spring afternoon. It's about noontime, I guess. Yeah, beautiful day. Great morning for a scooter ride, and wow, I enjoyed going out to the model airplane flying field. It was brought back a lot of memories. And man, those planes can really go. And breakfast was absolutely fantastic at Cocina Azul downtown. It was fantastic breakfast. And so anyways, here we are. I have my Triumph Norm 6 out here, and I'm going to sit down and do a little thinking and put some words down on paper. Well, I got a really flattering letter from David Peterson, who, if you remember, had recently organized this event called Paper Fingers up in Illinois, and what a great event it appears like it was. He has some interesting things in his letter. I won't share it all, of course, but some thoughts here I think that are really cogent. He says, "It's impossible to teach a person to create, in my honest opinion. Sure, we can show another human a methodology for putting ideas or thoughts out into the public, but we cannot teach a person to create something of value." David goes on in his letter to describe his favorite moment of the entire Paper Fingers event, which was he stopped midway through the event briefly in a corner of the room just to reflect on what he was seeing. And he said there was like 20 to 25 people typing and socializing in this space, and none of them had a cell phone in their hand. They were all engaged in face-to-face communication and direct creativity of ink on paper. That was a great thing. That's a great thing that he observed, and that's one of the things I love about typewriter events, public typewriter events. And I guess this is a good, timely opportunity to mention that coming here this April 28th, 2019 in Albuquerque, we're having our spring 2019 Type Out at Penny Smith's Paper in the North Valley of Albuquerque. Hope you guys could be there if you can. This is probably high time that I mentioned to you guys that I have this book that was sent to me by David Peterson, Love is Meat. This is a book of his poetry work, and it's a really great book. I've been enjoying the heck out of it. I don't know if you guys are into poetry, but you should be if you're not. Poetry is the ultimate in the manual application of language. Poetry is like driving a stick shift. There's no real rules. You can go from first gear to third gear immediately if you want to. You can skip second gear. David does that here in his book. The back cover says, "Born in the back lot of a slaughterhouse in which his parents fell in love, David W. Peterson delivers an eccentric take on the erroneous all-American dream. Peterson takes on the challenge of dictating the predictable, classic Midwestern American mindset with the penmanship of a nauseated outsider. 50-piece nuggets. Are you out of your mind? What are you supposed to do with the leftover nuggets? I guess you could buy the whole damn thing and share it with a family. That is a horrifying image. A whole family sitting around eating chicken McNuggets. Dipping. You have to erase the G in dipping when it comes down to it. There's no way they could all be fresh nuggets. Little kids fighting for the hot ones. Smacking and chewing and dipping. The whole family. Welcome to God's country." When Dave first reached out to me with this book, he included a really neat letter typed on his Olympia SM9, and he noticed I didn't have an SM9, and he was wishing that I could find one. And actually, I've had two SM9s, and let's see, my first SM9 was I don't know what the name of the font typeface was. Did I say font? But it was that squarish style characters that you might call techno font. It was a great typewriter. I ended up buying it for $32, $33 at a thrift store. Anyway, there's a whole story about how I got the price down, but I had it for a few years, and then I made the choice to sell that typewriter to a family. There was a father looking for a typewriter for his teenage daughter, and I thought that was a good cause, so I sold it. Then later on, I found a 1970s SM9, the one with the orange logo, but it was a wide carriage machine, didn't have a case. I ended up finding an antique Hartman Skymate pigskin suitcase to put it in, and I had that for a few years. And then my wife's niece up in Santa Fe, she expressed interest in getting a typewriter, and I knew I had a good selection of them to choose from, and so I ended up giving her that SM9. So I've actually had two SM9s, but I currently don't have an SM9, but we have an SM3, which technically belongs to my wife, although I am permitted, if I mind my manners, I'm permitted to use it once in a while. But that's a little bit of background on my SM9 history. So the only Olympias we have right now are that SM3 and my Olympia SF, which is a wonderful little ultra portable. Ultra portable in the sense of the size of it is ultra portable, but it's built with typical Olympia ruggedness, which means it is a bit heavy. So it fits in a shoulder bag pretty well. And it is in one of the grab-and-go shoulder bags in my office that has the typing paper and correction tape and everything ready to go. Just grab it, sling it over your shoulder, and head out there to the coffee shops, and you can sit by the window of the coffee shop and type to your heart's content as the zombies are heading down the street doing whatever zombies do. When you have your manual typewriter and you're all set, and everything's fine because of that. I also wanted to take the time right now to thank all of you guys out there who have supported me throughout the last few years in watching and subscribing to this channel, and your feedback, the dialogue that we've enjoyed in the comment section below and via email has been very richly rewarding to me, and I just want to continue serving you in this regard and presenting these video topics that might inspire you to more creativity. That is my heart's desire, to inspire other people to be creative. And I hope we progress onward this year into more and more creativity. Well, this is Joe, and no, this is not a vlog. Stay creative. Have yourselves a great day. Bye-bye.